Every morning, I wake up to the gentle sound of waves against my houseboat. I have been living on the canals of Amsterdam for 6 months now, and I still love it. The soft movement of the water is like a lullaby that never gets old. I start my day by making a cup of coffee. Then I step out onto the small deck of my boat. The city is already awake. Cyclists are speeding by, and the tour boats are starting their routes. I wave to my neighbour, who lives 2 boats away. He is a retiree who has lived on the water for many years. He always waves back with a friendly smile. My commute to work is easy and relaxed. I ride my bike along the canals. At first, it was hard to navigate the busy streets with so many bicycles, trams, and people. But now, I'm used to it. The smell of fresh stroopwafels from the street vendors tempts me every day. Sometimes, I stop to buy one as a treat. At work, I'm still the American novelty in my Dutch office. My colleagues find it funny when I talk about things from the United States. During lunch, we have conversations where I share stories about my home, and they teach me Dutch phrases. I try to say the words, but I often make mistakes, which makes everyone laugh. In the evenings, I feel the most content. My favourite thing to do is visit the tiny, old, brown cafes in the city. These cafes are warm and cosy, and they have been around for hundreds of years. I like to sip on local beer and chat with different people. Sometimes they are locals, and other times they are travellers from all over the world. Each conversation is a new experience. If I don't go out, I enjoy cooking on my boat. I love to watch the sky turn pink as the sun sets over the water. The reflection on the canal is beautiful and peaceful. Living here has taught me to slow down and appreciate life. Amsterdam is a mix of history and modern life. Every day I discover something new, make a new friend, or face a small challenge of living on a boat. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. This floating life is my home now. I have been a night shift nurse for 3 years now. Working at night is very different from the daytime. The hospital is quieter and the lights are dimmed. The sound of machines humming softly, the gentle squeak of shoes on the linoleum floor, and the occasional beeping of monitors have become familiar to me. They are like a lullaby that I hear every night. At the beginning of my shift, I greet my colleagues and get ready for the night ahead. I check on my patients to make sure they are comfortable. Some of them are awake and might feel lonely or scared in the quiet of the night. I talk to them, give them medicine if they need it, and try to help them feel safe. Others are sleeping, and I make sure not to disturb them as I check their charts and adjust their blankets. The hours pass slowly during the night, but I'm used to it now. There are times when everything is calm, and I can sit at the nurse's station, writing notes and sipping coffee. But I always stay alert because I never know when something might happen. A patient might need help suddenly, and I have to be ready. My colleagues are like my family. We support each other through the long nights. We share stories and laughter to keep our spirits up. Sometimes, when it's very quiet, we talk about our lives and dreams. These conversations make the night feel less lonely. By the time my shift ends, the sky outside is beginning to lighten. I feel tired, but also satisfied, because I know I have done my best to care for my patients. As I drive home, the city is waking up, but I'm ready for bed. When I finally crawl under the covers, I fall asleep quickly, with the memories of the night still fresh in my mind. Living in Tokyo has changed how I think about personal space. Every morning, I join the sea of commuters, packed tightly into trains like sardines in a can. The trains are always crowded, and there is very little room to move. But everyone is polite and quiet. Despite the lack of space, people are respectful and try not to bump into each other. My day starts early. I leave my small apartment and walk to the train station. The streets are already busy, with people hurrying to catch their trains. When I reach the platform, I see the train approaching, and I prepare myself for the journey. As the doors open, a crowd of people rushes out, and then another crowd pushes in. I squeeze in with everyone else, trying to find a spot where I can stand without being too close to anyone. Inside the train, there is a strange kind of silence. Even though we are all packed together, no one talks loudly. Many people are looking at their phones, reading, or just staring out the window. I try to find something to focus on to pass the time. Sometimes I listen to music, or I look at the advertisements on the walls of the train. The train system in Tokyo is incredibly efficient. The trains arrive and leave exactly on time, and the flow of people is like a well-rehearsed dance. I've learned to navigate the crowds, finding my way through the busy stations with ease. I know which train car to enter to be closest to the exit at my destination. This saves me time and helps me avoid the heaviest crowds. Sometimes it feels overwhelming to be surrounded by so many people, but I have also come to appreciate the efficiency and order of Tokyo. The city is always alive, always moving, and I have become a part of its daily rhythm. When I finally step off the train and into the fresh air, I feel a sense of relief. The hustle and bustle of the city fade away as I make my way to work, ready to start another day in this incredible city. I never imagined that retirement would lead me to become a full-time RV nomad. But here I am, living on the road and waking up to a different view every week. My home is on wheels, and the open road is my new life. It's a big change from the life I used to know, but I love the freedom it brings. Every morning, I wake up in my cozy RV bed, not knowing what the day will bring. The first thing I do is make a cup of coffee. I love stepping outside with my coffee and looking at the view. Sometimes it's a quiet beach with the waves gently lapping at the shore. Other times it's a forest filled with the sounds of birds and rustling leaves. Each place I visit is different, and every day is a new adventure. Living in an RV has its challenges, but I enjoy the simplicity of it. I have everything I need in my small home. The kitchen is tiny, but it works perfectly for cooking meals. The bathroom is small too, but it's all part of the experience. I have learned to live with less, and I feel lighter because of it. The best part is that I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. If I want to see the mountains, I drive to the mountains. If I want to be by the sea, I drive to the coast. The possibilities are endless. Along the way, I have met so many interesting people. There are other RV nomads like me, and we often cross paths at campgrounds. We share stories, give each other tips, and sometimes travel together for a while. I have also met locals in the towns I visit, and they often tell me about the best places to see. Each new place brings new experiences and new friends. As the sun sets and I settle in for the night, I feel grateful for this life. Retirement isn't what I expected, but it's better than I could have imagined. The open road has become my home, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I know that tomorrow will bring another new place to explore, and I can't wait to see where the road takes me next. My job as a deep-sea welder is anything but ordinary. Every time I descend into the deep, dark ocean, I am reminded of the power of nature and human ingenuity. The water is cold and inky black, and the pressure is intense, but I feel a sense of peace as I work far below the surface. Before each dive, I put on my heavy diving suit and check my equipment. The suit is bulky, but it protects me from the cold and the pressure of the deep sea. The helmet covers my head, and the oxygen tank on my back provides the air I need to breathe. Everything must be in perfect working order, because there is no room for error underwater. When I am ready, I step into the water and begin my descent. The world above disappears as I go deeper and deeper. The light fades until there is only darkness around me. But I am not afraid. I have trained for years to do this job, and I trust in my skills and the team that supports me from above. My job is to repair and build structures deep under the sea, where few people ever go. It's a dangerous job, but I take pride in what I do. The tools I use are powerful, and I must handle them carefully. The welding torch creates sparks that light up the darkness, and I focus on the work at hand, blocking out everything else. Down in the deep, it's just me, the tools, and the sea. The silence is complete, broken only by the sound of my own breathing and the occasional crackle of the welding torch. It's a world few people see, and I feel privileged to be a part of it. The ocean is a mysterious and beautiful place, full of life and wonder, and I'm one of the few who get to experience it up close. When I finally surface, the bright light of the sun is almost blinding. I return to the world above, tired but satisfied, knowing that I have done something important. My job may be tough, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else. The ocean is my workplace, and every dive is an adventure. Working at a lighthouse on a remote Scottish island seemed like a romantic idea when I first applied. I imagined peaceful days and nights, surrounded by the beauty of nature. But the reality is a mix of breathtaking beauty and deep isolation. The island is wild and rugged, with the sea crashing against the rocks below. It's a place of both peace and challenge. Each day, I tend to the lighthouse, making sure the light is working properly. The light is very important because it guides ships safely through the dangerous waters around the island. If the light goes out, it could lead to disaster, so I take my job very seriously. In the morning, I check all the equipment and clean the lenses to make sure everything is in good working order. The wind often howls outside, and the waves crash loudly against the cliffs. But inside the lighthouse, it is warm and quiet. I keep the place tidy, and I enjoy the simple tasks that come with caring for the lighthouse. But the days are long, and the isolation can be difficult. There are no neighbours here, no shops, no cafes. Just me, the lighthouse, and the wild sea. Sometimes I feel lonely, especially on stormy nights when the wind shakes the windows and the rain pounds against the walls. The darkness outside feels endless, and I must remind myself that I chose this life. Despite the loneliness, the beauty of the island keeps me going. The sunsets are incredible, with the sky turning shades of pink and orange, and the stars at night are brighter than I've ever seen. The sea is constantly changing, from calm and blue to wild and grey. The island is home to birds, seals, and other wildlife, and I feel a deep connection to the natural world around me. Living here has taught me to appreciate solitude and the simple things in life. It's not always easy, but I feel a deep connection to this place. The island has become a part of me, and I find peace in its wild beauty. As I look out at the sea each evening, I know that this is where I am meant to be. I thought working as a Hollywood makeup artist would be glamorous. I imagined myself on movie sets, surrounded by celebrities and excitement. But the reality is very different. Instead of glitz and glamour, I find myself arriving on set at 4 a.m, armed with brushes and an arsenal of concealer, ready to transform actors into their characters. The job is demanding, and every day is a new challenge. I have to be creative and quick, working under pressure to get everything perfect before the cameras start rolling. Some days, I'm creating a simple look, covering blemishes and enhancing the actor's natural beauty. Other days, I'm creating special effects, like making someone look older or adding scars and wounds for an action scene. The work is hard, and the hours are long, but I love the creativity it allows me. There's something magical about seeing an actor step into their role, fully transformed by the makeup I've applied. It's a small part of the filmmaking process, but it's important, and I take pride in my work. On set, there is a lot of waiting around, and I have to be ready at a moment's notice. Sometimes, the director changes the scene, and I have to adjust the makeup quickly. Other times, I'm waiting for hours, only to touch up the actor's face before the next take. It's not always exciting, but it's all part of the job. At the end of the day, when the lights go down and the actors are done, I clean my brushes and pack up my kit, ready to do it all over again tomorrow. It may not be glamorous, but it's my passion, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Working in Hollywood has taught me that behind the scenes, there is a lot of hard work and dedication, and I'm proud to be a part of it. When I started my job at the penguin exhibit at the city zoo, I didn't expect my daily routine to involve being followed by a group of waddling birds. But now, it's just part of my day, and I can't imagine it any other way. Working with penguins has become a special part of my life, and I have grown to love these curious and charming animals. Every morning, I arrive at the zoo early to prepare the exhibit. The first thing I do is check the water temperature to make sure it's just right for the penguins. Then, I clean the enclosure, making sure everything is safe and clean for the birds. The penguins know me well by now, and as soon as they see me, they waddle over to greet me. It's fun to watch the penguins. They each have their own personalities, and I've come to know them well. Some are curious and like to follow me around as I work, while others are more independent and prefer to swim or play on their own. Feeding time is my favourite part of the day. The penguins get excited when they see me with the bucket of fish, and they gather around, waiting for their meal. As I feed them, I talk to them, even though I know they don't understand. But they seem to enjoy the sound of my voice, and I enjoy their company. After feeding time, I spend some time observing them, making sure they are healthy and happy. It's important to keep a close eye on them, as penguins can get sick easily. Working with these amazing animals has taught me a lot about patience and care. Every day brings a new challenge or a new joy. Sometimes a penguin might be feeling unwell, and I have to work with the zoo's vet to help them get better. Other times, I get to watch as new penguin chicks hatch and grow. It's a unique job, and I feel lucky to be a part of it. As I leave the zoo at the end of the day, I feel a sense of satisfaction, knowing that I have helped care for these wonderful creatures. I may not have expected to spend my days with penguins, but I wouldn't have it any other way. They have become a big part of my life, and I look forward to seeing them every day. Living in a tiny apartment in Hong Kong has taught me to become a master of minimalism and organisation. Space is limited, but I have learned to make the most of it. Every morning, I wake up in my small but cosy apartment, and my day begins with a careful dance of folding, sliding, and transforming furniture to create the space I need. The apartment is cleverly designed to make use of every inch of space. The bed folds up into the wall, revealing a desk and a small living area. The table folds out from a cabinet, and the chairs can be stacked away when not in use. Every piece of furniture serves more than one purpose, and I have become skilled at moving things around to create the room I need for different activities. In the morning, I fold up the bed and set up the table for breakfast. The kitchen is small, but it's functional. I have just enough space to cook a simple meal and enjoy a cup of coffee. After breakfast, I fold the table away and pull out the desk to start my work. Everything has its place, and I've learned to be very organised. Living in such a small space has changed how I think about possessions. I only keep what I truly need, and I've become very careful about what I buy. There's no room for clutter, so I've learned to live simply and efficiently. I've also become very creative in finding storage solutions, using the space under the bed, above the cabinets, and even inside the furniture to store my belongings. Despite the small size, I love my apartment. It's cosy and comfortable, and it's my own little corner of this bustling city. The view from the window is amazing, with the city's skyline stretching out before me. I can see the busy streets below, filled with people and cars, but up here, it's peaceful and quiet. Living here has taught me that less can be more. I have come to appreciate the simplicity of a minimalist lifestyle, and I feel more connected to my surroundings. My tiny apartment may be small, but it's filled with the things that matter most to me. It's a place where I can relax, work, and enjoy my life in the heart of Hong Kong. As a long-haul truck driver, the open road is both my office and my home. I spend most of my days driving across the country, delivering goods from one place to another. The road stretches out before me, and the landscape changes with each mile. The open road is my constant companion, and truck stops and diners across the country have become my neighbourhood. Each morning, I wake up in a different place. Sometimes it's a quiet rest stop surrounded by trees, where I can hear the birds singing. Other times, it's a busy truck stop with the hum of engines all around. I grab a quick breakfast, usually a cup of coffee and a sandwich, check my truck to make sure everything is in order, and then hit the road. Driving long hours requires focus and discipline, but it also gives me time to think and reflect. The cab of my truck is like a small home, with a bed in the back where I sleep at night. I have a small fridge to keep my food cold and a radio to keep me entertained. It's not fancy, but it's comfortable, and I have everything I need. The job can be lonely at times, but I enjoy the freedom it gives me. I love watching the landscape change as I drive from state to state. One day, I might be driving through the mountains, with the peaks covered in snow. The next day, I might be crossing the desert with the hot sun beating down. The open road is like a blank canvas, and I never know what I'll see next. Along the way, I stop at truck stops and diners, where I meet other drivers and locals. We share stories, talk about the road, and enjoy a meal together. These stops are a welcome break from the long hours of driving, and I've made many friends along the way. The people I meet and the places I see make the journey special. At the end of a long day, I park my truck and settle in for the night. The cab of my truck is my home, and it's where I rest and recharge for the next day's journey. I might read a book, watch a movie, or simply enjoy the peace and quiet. The stars above are my night sky, and the sound of the wind is my lullaby. Being a long-haul truck driver is not an easy job, but I love the adventure and the sense of independence it gives me. The open road is always calling, and I'm always ready to answer. The road is my home, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now that you've heard the stories, let's go over some key vocabulary words and phrases that will help you understand and describe different jobs, environments, and daily activities in English. These words are taken from the stories, and learning them will enhance your English skills. Let's start with some general terms. Lullaby, a soft, gentle song that helps someone fall asleep. In one of the stories, the sound of machines humming softly is described as a lullaby that the night shift nurse hears every night. Rhythm, a regular repeated pattern of sounds or movements. The nurse in the story is used to the rhythm of the night at the hospital. Efficient, being effective without wasting time, effort, or resources. The train system in Tokyo, for example, is described as incredibly efficient. Minimalism, a style or technique characterized by simplicity and the use of minimal elements. Living in a tiny apartment in Hong Kong has taught one of our characters to become a master of minimalism. Routine, a regular way of doing things in a particular order. The zookeeper's daily routine involves being followed by a group of waddling penguins. Isolation, the state of being alone or separated from others. The lighthouse keeper experiences a mix of breathtaking beauty and deep isolation on a remote Scottish island. Next, we'll look at some job-specific terms. Night shift, a work shift that takes place during the nighttime. The nurse has been working the night shift for 3 years. Commute, to travel regularly to and from a place, especially between one's home and workplace. The commute in Tokyo is part of the daily rhythm of the city. Nomad, a person who does not stay long in the same place. A wanderer. Our RV traveler never imagined becoming a full-time nomad in retirement. Welder, a person who joins pieces of metal together using heat or electricity. The deep-sea welder's job is anything but ordinary. Makeup artist, a person whose job is to apply makeup to actors, models, and others. The Hollywood makeup artist thought the job would be glamorous, but it turned out to be quite different. Exhibit, a display or show, often in a museum or zoo. The zookeeper's job at the penguin exhibit involves being waddled after by the penguins. Truck driver, a person who drives a truck as a job, especially over long distances. The truck driver considers the open road both their office and their home. Now, let's talk about some environmental and setting-related terms. Linoleum, a type of floor covering made from materials like cork and linseed oil, often used in hospitals. The nurse is familiar with the soft squeak of shoes on the linoleum floor. Sardines, small fish, often packed tightly in a can. This term is used metaphorically to describe how commuters are packed tightly into trains, like sardines in a can. Inky, very dark or black, like ink. The deep-sea welder descends into the inky black ocean, a reminder of nature's power. Cab, the driver's compartment of a truck. For the truck driver, the cab of the truck is where they rest and recharge after long hours on the road. Lighthouse, a tall building with a light at the top, used to guide ships at sea. The lighthouse keeper works on a remote Scottish island, far from civilization. Waddle, to walk with short steps, swinging from side to side like a penguin. The zookeeper's daily routine involves being waddled after by tuxedoed birds. Remote, far away from other places or people. The lighthouse is on a remote Scottish island, far from any towns or cities. By learning these words and phrases, you'll be better equipped to describe different jobs, environments, and activities in English. Practice using these terms in your own sentences to help them stick, and continue to expand your vocabulary as you progress in your English learning journey.